Welcome, everyone, to the Pull the Chute podcast with Jeff and Jana. As always, we are so excited that you're here. And as always, we like to say thank you for the support that you've given us. We've had a couple of outstanding weeks of listenership that just kind of plummeted. We're excited about that. I'm sorry, took off. And Jana is actually on assignment today, so she is not here. So I am flying solo, and we do that periodically just so that we can keep these going. But today I'm excited. I have Kevin Roy with me. And we're going to get into some amazing futuristic conversations of where SEO is going. But before we do that, Kevin, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
And Kevin, do me a favor, if you wouldn't mind, for our listeners, would you give a brief background about who you are and how you got to where you're at today, and then we'll kind of jump in.
Sure. I mean, basically, I'm an SEO geek. I've been doing this as our 18th year doing as an SEO agency, and we've been really fortunate enough to work with all different types of clients in fintech, biotech, consumer services, attorneys, defense contractors, and I am obsessed with AI lately. I have been for the last year. So we've really had to adopt what we're doing to helping people rank in ChatGPT and Gemini and Claude and all those, answer engines.
Very cool. And so 18 years of SEO. SEO is one of those evasive things. Is it real? Does it really work? It's one of those where people can't, well, we'll do our best to get you ranked kind of thing, but it sounds like you've got it figured out.
Yes, we have it figured out. Um, I know exactly what it takes to rank somebody. It doesn't mean that you can rank everybody. So if you started a brand new website today and say, I want to rank on page one for dating, well, yeah, I know exactly what needs to be done, but we have to create tons and tons and tons of content and tons and tons and tons of high quality links. But the principles don't change. And if you follow the principles, you will rank.
That's great. And so, before we jump into the future of SEO, what are a few of those principles that really make a difference? And I'm selfishly asking, I've had Pull the Chute for 5 years, and
Mhm.
I type in leadership coaching and I don't rank that much, so
So
I'm doing something wrong.
so it actually it boils down to relevance. So if you want to rank for leadership coaching, you need a page on your website to be optimized better than anyone else's page. So you have to have more optimized content that is very relevant to leadership coaching, and you have to have links that are pointing to the site that mention leadership coaching. You want to just have stack relevance. So buying a bunch of junk links on Fiverr that are on fruit websites, it's not really good. It's not really going to hurt you, but it's not going to help you at all because it's not relevant. So if you work on making sure that your page is relevant and the links that are going to your page that are relevant, that is 90% of the battle. There's a lot of subtleties in the middle of it, but that's the principle.
So we do this podcast. We have 242 episodes that have now dropped
Mm-hmm.
overall, and then we have them on YouTube as well.
Yep.
Are those nice backlinks to the site
Yes.
that,
Yes.
that work well?
So you want to backlink them to the site. The other thing that I would recommend that you do, and this has really been helping in answer engine optimization or generative engine optimization, you want to um, give credit to an author. So one of the things that the AI engines are, uh, for lack of better words, freaking out about right now is credibility of content. If you and I really wanted to, we could write a very compelling article about DNA splicing, and it's probably going to sound pretty good. I have no business doing that. I'm not a PhD scientist, but I could write one using chat. So chat understands that, or Gemini understands that, and they want to say their answer to that is let's attribute a credible author to this. So what you should be doing is have an author bio on your website. I like to use like LinkedIn. So if you go to my LinkedIn page, there's an author bio link that goes to my author bio page. And when I write an article, I put my author bio on that. So I'm stacking my entities. Now with your YouTube and your podcast, what I would do is every time that you launch a podcast or and you're putting it on YouTube, put a little a brief about it in LinkedIn, and then link it to your author page, and then link it to your YouTube and your podcast. So you're stealing the authority of LinkedIn. But remember when I was talking about relevance, that article is relevant to the YouTube video and to the podcast, right? So that's stacking relevance and stacking high authority links and giving it credibility.
So I want to talk about credibility for a minute, because I've seen some things that come out recently that talk about that's being kind of the next ability to push things, because you're now a credible whatever expert, right?
Yep.
So I've been fortunate enough to have a couple of articles recently just written about me, right? And it talks about leadership and how I go about it, and pull the chute and all that. Do those become creditable links to things, or does it have to be somebody else that kind of does it?
It can be you that talks about yourself. It definitely helps if other people talk about you and give you credibility. But you can, if you're mentioned in other articles, you link that to your website, and then your website's going to link to your author bio. This isn't really new. Like, so there's been, it's called, it's experience, expertise, authority, and trust. I always mess up the two E's, but this has been around for a while, and it was really Google was really pushing on this years ago for medical and finance, and then it just sort of bloomed into everything. So they were, when you're writing a medical article, it was really hard to get those to rank, and then you attribute it to the physician that wrote it, and you magically ranked. Same thing with finance.
Got it. Interesting. So what's the biggest screw up that people, or misnomer that people think that SEO should be doing, or that they should be doing? What are the mistakes? That's what I'm looking for, that most people do when they do SEO.
So basic SEO, and then I can talk about answer engine optimization. But basic SEO, the people aren't creating relevance. So one of the reasons we call the company Green Banana is because I was doing a presentation on how to rank, and it was a super boring presentation, super boring. Like, everyone else before me was boring, and I got up and said, forget it, I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to show you how to rank on page 1 for banana. And I created a diagram of a fruit store. I couldn't find a yellow pen. I could only find a green pen. So I said, we're going to rank on page 1 for green banana. And I started to draw apples and strawberries and blueberries and pineapples on my fruit store. And I said, do you think Google is ever going to rank this page 1, number 1 for green banana? Right. And because the green banana is on the page, but it's being diluted by all the other fruit.
Right.
So you have to have a page that's dedicated to that. So one of the mistakes that people make is, I'm a plumber, electrician, an HVAC expert, a ductless HVAC installation person in 7 towns. It's like, okay, which one are you? You gotta, that's fine to have a blanket page, but you need to have specific pages if you want to rank for a specific keyword phrase. That's 80% of the work for answer engine optimization. With answer engine optimization, you have to make sure that you're adding schema, you're adding an FAQ into that. Those are like the simple basic things that you're doing. Schema is very important. If you don't know schema, ask ChatGPT to help you write it. It's able to be accessed faster by the language models, and they're pulling that and they're using actually that as a credibility source too.
That's great. Thanks for sharing that. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the future a little bit here now. So AI is taking over. How is that affecting SEO, and where do you see it going?
So yeah, AI is definitely taking over. I'm really interested to see who the winner is going to be. I mean, a year ago it was ChatGPT, and now it seems to be Gemini. So, and part of that is because Google just has a massive war chest, and OpenAI is borrowing money. They're borrowing a lot of money. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see what model wins. But what it does for SEO is, like I said in the beginning, you and I can pump out great content about something we know nothing about. So making sure that there's credibility attached to it. I think that's just going to get more and more and more important, and they're going to get better at identifying that credibility piece. Yeah.
So is there going to be, I mean, okay, great, credibility. And you mentioned twice, like we have no business writing that. Shouldn't there be a, a test that says, hey, is this real? This guy, I
Yeah.
mean, right now there's all these, hey, who wrote it, AI or the
Yeah.
people, right?
Right.
Shouldn't there be something like that in there?
There
Is that
should
something?
be, but it is next to impossible for the AI models to tell. When AI first came out, no, I mean it's been out for years, but when people really started using ChatGPT a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, it was really easy to tell an AI um, uh, content because it was very predictive. Like Jeff and I are going to take a long walk on the beach at, it's always going to say night, right? So you'd have to say with a beer in my hand and no flip flops. So, but now it does a great job of writing more human.
Yeah. So I guess the question then becomes, as we've done it, and I've actually, I have an AI assistant and I call her Emily. And, both of my books are up there, all my articles are up there. And all I do is I say, Emily, do this in my voice. And it
Mm-hmm.
is freaking amazing. I'm
It
just like,
is, yeah,
I'm blown away. I'm like, this is exactly how I would say that.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And so that ability to learn is really an important factor, I think, and is what really is making AI kind of go to the next level with some of this stuff. So, can we teach that same agent, let's call it, Emily in my case, to help me to set up SEO stuff that's going to work well? Is that one of the things that we should be doing?
Yeah, you can definitely ask them to do it. I've seen some misinformation with that. So what I've found is uh, someone that understands SEO is going to have a better chance at making sure that they're implementing and asking the right questions. It's kind of like it's very similar to development in AI. I'm not a developer. Um, I have used tools like Claude and Lovable, and I developed a SEO checker tool. And I went and showed my developer. I'm like all proud of it. I'm like, hey, look what I built. This is amazing. It actually works. And he said, you left all your keys public. So anybody that has access to this can just use all of your accounts for free and use all your credits.
Yikes.
I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. He's
Yeah,
like,
right.
because you didn't ask the question, because I didn't think to even ask that question. So there were so many problems with what I built. So that's why, sure, you can go on to chat and say, give me a perfectly optimized page, but I think you need to ask the right questions and say, and don't do this, and make sure that you do this, and make sure make sure that the page loads fast, make sure the schema matches all of the content in the pages, make sure that where the pages are falling in a hierarchical structure, so they're not competing with each other. So so yes, I think SEOs can use it really well to do it. If someone asks chat how to do it, you're probably going to do pretty good. But I think you could fall into some pitfalls.
So, what does all this mean for you, the company? You've been around 18 years. You've kind of, you self-pronounced SEO geek,
Mm-hmm.
uh, really into AI. How is this going to affect your business moving forward?
So it already has. I mean, so I think when it first started coming out, I'm like, oh my God, what's going to happen to our business? And the more I started to look into it and talking to our customers, um, they are all in a race to be cited in these models. So for SEOs, don't panic. This is kind of the golden age for us. So we have been seeing an onslaught of business. Um, our larger clients were really early adopters into this, and now our smaller clients are saying, "Hey, how does this happen?" And I've noticed that like we're really fortunate to work with some pretty good sized companies. I'm not going to mention any of them, but like big financial companies, big advertising companies, they're all behind in this. So they all need help. So if you can figure this out for your clients, um, it it's gonna you'll be really successful.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because I look at all the pieces for AI and how it can replace people, it says, right? And
Mhm.
I'm a staunch against that because it's like we still need that human decision sometimes to make things, right?
Human in the
We can
loop,
rely on
right?
it to write things and do things, but we still need that human touch in there to be able to do things. And I worry about, especially these tech companies where, developers that are talking about are going to be obsolete,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But are they really? Because as you said, look, I don't know all the questions to ask, right? So it's all
right.
about the prompts and the questions and things like that. So long term, let's go in AI years, let's go 2 years down the road because that's like 10 years, anybody else's stuff, because everything's happening so fast. How do you see your your company overall leveraging the AI, and do you think it will replace people for you?
I my goal is to grow so much that we're not going to have to replace people. I think that lower level people, let me rephrase that. People that don't adopt it and don't embrace it are going to be replaced by people that do. So one of the things that we do here is we every Friday, someone has to present something new that they tried or learned in AI, and it can be fun or just sparking interest and getting people excited about it. So that we found that that's been super helpful, and I think that leaders have to push that. So um, I'm the I'm the annoying voice here that says, have you done this in AI? Have you tried this in AI? This build doc that you made is amazing. It took you 15 hours. Next time, can you put it in AI and see if you can cut it down to 7?
Or 7 minutes?
Right, right, right. Well, but like you said, the human in the loop piece of it, you, it right now it's making mistakes. The reason that AI is getting
Sure.
better and better and better is because it keeps learning. Remember, like a year ago, it couldn't do text and images. It was all
Right.
Ipsiform weird stuff, and now it's almost perfect. It's not perfect, but it's in a year it's going to be perfect.
So, do you think you'd be able to use? I'm thinking back now of all the things you like, back links and things like that with AI, creating videos,
Mm-hmm.
uh, because that's one of the big things we could do, right? I'm using it. I
Mm-hmm.
forget which one it was, but I created a video of it, took a picture of myself, and then
Yeah,
I gave it a script, and it did
yeah,
the whole thing, right? Is that something that we could leverage for the SEO stuff, like to build that
yes.
stuff?
So yes, you can leverage it. I'm personally doing my own videos because and I make mistakes in them, and I'm keeping the mistakes in there because I really want to add I want to add credibility to it, and I I think that people are going to start getting sick of AI generated stuff, and it's less authentic. I was at the I was at the I have a young daughter, and she begged me to take her to the SpongeBob movie. And so that was last week. And there was a propaganda video with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that was all against AI. It was a 5-minute expose on this giant robot that was built by AI and how many bad things the robot was doing or making mistakes because it was
Wow.
AI generated. It was really interesting.
That is. It's one of the interesting things I've been noticing on like Instagram and stuff like that. They've been creating, and this is what it bothers me because they're creating
Yeah.
these videos of John Harbaugh for Baltimore, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and he
Right.
was blasting the people of Baltimore. Look, I brought you Super Bowls and this and that,
Yeah.
and now you're looking for someone to blame. You're going to blame me. Well, why don't you blame this quarterback? And it's
Yeah.
supposed to be this
Right.
stuff. And I'm like, this was all AI generated, and it's
Yeah.
bad. I mean,
It is.
it looks real, but
Yeah.
the messaging is terrible.
And I think it hurt. Like anytime I see um, Joe Rogan pop up in Insta, I delete it because I know it's like this is fake. Now
Yeah.
that's got to hurt the brand eventually because there's people just stealing it and making him say things. I don't even know if he's saying them anymore, but I've seen so many things that just don't make sense. I just stopped it, deleting it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Yeah, AI is wonderful, but of course, we always have the people that use it for the negative stuff, and that's just such a
Yeah,
struggle for me. I'm just like, God,
yeah,
really? Why are we doing this? Why can't we use this stuff for
yeah.
good?
That
Really.
happens with everything. It was probably 15 minutes after the internet launched that adult content was put on there. Right?
All right.
It's right. It's just like the second you do something, people are going to use it for
Yeah. Well,
good.
it's funny you said that because that's actually what drove the internet for a while, which is the
Yeah,
adult content, right?
yeah,
All the
yeah.
development of the videos and all that stuff
Right,
was
right.
because of that, which,
Hmm.
good, better, and different from where we're at today.
Right,
So I guess that's
right.
okay. But so something before we close out here, something that people should really give them one or two things that you think are really important for them to do from an SEO standpoint, how it exists today and how it's going to be within 2 years. What are a couple, little tidbits you can give our listeners?
So number one is make sure that your content is relevant and the links that are pointing to your content are relevant. Number two is authorship. Um, I would really, really think about making sure that every piece that is written on your site is attributed to an author. If you have a big company, like we have big finance companies, and someone will be in charge of accelerated depreciation, and this is the tax woman, and right, so they're taking different subjects. So that really helps. Uh, if if you can learn schema, that would be really helpful. I just actually finished a blog post on my Green Banana website that takes you through like the four pillars, the making sure that your site's healthy, how to do citations, how to add schema, and how to distribute it with like the linking and the authorship. And it's a really simple, quick 2-minute read. And those are the things that you should focus on.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. Love it. Kevin, thank you so much for being on the show. We really
Yeah.
appreciate it. What great insight. SEO is one of those things that just is out there for me. It's like always been that mystical, is it real? And how do you make it all work and all that? So clarifying a bunch of stuff really has helped me selfishly. But if people want to get a hold of you, how can they do that?
So you can go to greenbananaseo.com, or don't ask this in chat because it's going to say who cares. But if you Google I just met Kevin, we rank on page. I always forgot my business card, so I'm page one, number one for I just
Awesome.
met Kevin.
Love it, love it, love it.
Yeah.
Well, again, Kevin, thanks for being on the show. We really appreciate it. To all our listeners out there, we'd like to thank you as always. Jen and I are just so appreciative of the support that you give us. Like I said, we had a phenomenal couple of weeks during the holidays. I guess people were looking to find escapes because we had some incredible listenership. So keep that up, and we appreciate it. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Jeff at pullthechute.net or Jana at janalandry.com. And leadership is one of the things that we always focus on here, and we use different aspects of things like today, with Kevin, and how you can learn more about that and do more about that. So please reach out. Leadership is the future of our generations to come, and we need to help them to be better leaders. So reach out. Let us help you figure that out and to grow your people. Until the next time, folks, stay safe and be healthy.